My parents are such a fantasy to me. They're such a fantasy, that life that I had for 15 years.
Sometimes Yvonne Ruff allows herself to remember a playful moment of childhood, a hug from mom, a wink from dad. Such ordinary memories, all so precious now.
We always did fun stuff. My dad liked to go to auctions. I loved to tag along. My mom taught me how to sew.
She's about to become a mother herself. Her first child is on the way. But it's not lost on Yvonne that she'll be 38 when the baby comes, the same age her own mother was that day in 1979.
I remember stopping at McDonald's. We got back in the car, and I curled up in the back seat behind my dad.
It was just a road trip, off to a family wedding over Thanksgiving.
I remember him turning around and winking at me, as if to say, everything's okay, don't worry about a thing. That's really all I remember.
Yvonne never saw it happen and remembers very little. The police report spelled out the painful facts. A drunk driver went the wrong way down the interstate and hit their car head-on at highway speed. He survived. Yvonne's parents did not. In one night, she was robbed of all she loved, orphaned at 15. Her brother and sister were old enough to live on their own, so Yvonne went by herself to live with different aunts and uncles.
I remember at night, I would go to bed and I would curl up in a fetal position and I would rock back and forth. And I'd say, I want my mom, I want my dad, I want my sister, I want my brother, and I'd just say that. But then I'd get up the next morning and I'd say, good morning, how are you? And I wouldn't let him know that I was so sad.
She doesn't know why, she says, but she tried to hide her sadness in a place she thought no one would see. Everything had changed now. She knew she would never get her family back.
Just the thought of getting a hug from my mother or my dad would just be phenomenal. I mean, that is not gonna happen.
The man who did this to her was named Kenneth Holder. To Yvonne, just a name on a police report. But what an impact he'd had. Punishment for drunk drivers was light back then. He served just 51 weekends in jail. For years, Yvonne had no desire to talk to him. But after our last Lost and Found program, she sent us a remarkable email. She wanted us to find Kenneth Holder. She wondered if she could find it in her heart to forgive the man who'd hurt her so much.
It's the right thing to do. It's what God wants us to do. And holding on to anger, I mean, there's a lot of things in my life that I could be angry about, but it's just going to tear me down and make me weak and make me not happy.
And she's wondered, she says, did he quit drinking? Did he change? Did he make it worse? How was his family affected? Yvonne searched the internet for him on her own, but the trail, as we discovered, was cold. We traced Kenneth Holder to a small town in Illinois, but Yvonne would never get a chance to meet him. It turns out Holder died a few years ago, a lonely, severe alcoholic who literally drank himself to death. We thought the story would end there, but then we found his ex-wife, Patricia, who remembers that night all too well.
I really lost my husband that night, too. Because he was never really the same after that.
Patricia Holder was married to Kenneth back then. She told us Kenneth was a mean drinker. He favored beer, but whiskey sometimes made him even meaner. He drove a truck for a living, and most nights after work, he came here to a place called the Hilltop Tavern.
You know, and he'd come home maybe at 10, 11 o'clock at night, so drunk. He was lucky to get the door open because he couldn't find, the keys or anything else to get the door unlocked.
That night in 1979 might have played out like any other night, but for reasons Pat says she still can't fully explain, something felt different.
November 21st, night before Thanksgiving. It was kind of a misty, rainy night. I don't know, I had a feeling if I didn't go, something was going to happen.
she'd never gone to the bar to pick him up, never tried to keep him from driving home until that night. She called him at the bar and learned he was drunk. She asked him to stay, then jumped into her car to get him. As she and a friend drove down the interstate, she saw her husband driving home.
About right here, I seen him coming across the bridge. And that's when I told Sue, my God, there he is.
She feared the worst, but by the time she caught up with him, it was too late. Pat was at the scene of the accident within minutes. She saw the bodies. She heard the children's screams.
It's probably something I'll never forget. It's just, you know, you try to prevent something, you can't do it. Somebody ends up getting killed.
It has been her private pain. If she made it there just a few minutes sooner, Pat wonders if somehow she'd stopped her husband in time.
I know it really wasn't my fault, but I didn't get there in time to stop it either. So it's just kind of a guilt thing I've been living with.
Living in a small town made it harder. Pat remembers some who blamed her merely because she was married to Kenneth.
There's still people that had pointed their finger saying your husband killed 2 people. My kids, they would get fingers pointed at them saying your dad killed 2 people. It was really hard.
So fitting now that Pat spends her days working at a mental health center with people battling substance abuse. Life with Kenneth prepared her for this. When we told Pat about Yvonne's search for Kenneth, she asked for a chance to meet her, and Yvonne agreed. But some in Pat's family have urged her not to do it.
I feel like I have to. I'm hoping it can help her and her brother. That when the accident happened, that I did care. I wasn't just married to this person. I did care about this other family.
Yvonne will never meet Kenneth Holder, but she wants to meet Pat. She has so many questions.
I don't know what she's going to tell me about that night, but I'm sure that there'll be some painful things there for me to hear. Maybe I don't know what she's going to tell me.